Hello. Hi. So for today's workshop, we'll be going over the community and culture. And so my name is Sebastian, and what we'll be going over is basically some of the cultural centers that are provided by CPP and also some of the things that you could be interested in if the cultural centers may not be something that you want to be participating in. Maybe there are other things that you would like to be a part of. Um, so I've had experience with going through some of the cultural centers, and I'll be talking about those. I've also have some guest speakers that have been involved in the cultural centers, and they'll go over their experiences as well. And so we'll just go briefly into some of the things that they offer and where they're able to be found and how you can get updated with them. So, in beginning with that, one of the important things to note is why community is important, why we need to have that community when we go into CPP or any other 4 year. And it's oftentimes one of the things is being inclusive. One of the things is like wanting to feel included in things, wanting to kind of feel like you belong. And so CPP is very much that, feeling of, always making sure that you're included, that you're always feeling like there is a place for you. And that is essential because you kind of like when you are in your moments of like stress, you end up having to want to fall into a community that will be there for you. And so, one of the things that also going over is stress management. Oftentimes, you always look for a friend or like a resource that we kind of just want to like lean our shoulders on and express or a vent or just kind of like need a way to just feel like, not everything is falling apart. And communities often do that. We often want to fall into a community that kind of as one of the things is support us. And support is a strong thing when it comes to like wanting to go to a 4 year because we just need to know that there is somebody out there who will be willing to help us along our journeys. And the community centers at CPP or any of the clubs or organizations on the campus does that well. So that way you're able to, not feel like you're falling behind. And so kind of like there is kind of this resource for you to just feel like, you've built a connection. Um, and another thing is visibility. Oftentimes we walk around and either you're new to campus or you're just kind of new to your major or something that you just feel like, oh, I'm just kind of like walking on campus, not feeling like I belong yet. But so one of the things is you kind of want to feel visible. The idea of like, there is a center for you, there is an organization for you of people who are much like you or people who just understand your experiences. And so CPP does offer that in many ways. And one of them is either through the cultural centers or either through a club or organizations. And so they offer a lot of ways for students to feel involved, to feel included, and to feel like they do, in fact, belong here. So going over that, one of the things is their major focus on student life and cultural centers. So the OSLCC is an organization that encompasses a lot of different cultural centers within their like, realm. So you have six here, and we'll be going over these six cultural centers. And oftentimes the way to access them is through MindBar. And so it's either MindBar, and some of the centers themselves have their own independent links to go through. And so we'll be going over that briefly. So first, we'll go over the African American Student Center. And so the African American Student Center is in Building 95, among other cultural centers. And so one of the things that they have focus on, and one of the things that they often do, is get everyone involved. It's a lot of these community centers may like be specific to certain types of cultures, but they're not exclusive. They're very inclusive and they want people to get involved and they want to be, able to like lend a hand when they're able to and, just have people like really, kind of like in terms of intersectionality. They just want other people to know that they're there. And so one of the resources and events that they offer in the African American Student Center is an academic zone. So you'll see that throughout a lot of the culture centers is that they offer a study space that you could reserve or offer a couple of places where you could just sit down and focus on your work. And they also have an open library of their own types of literature and history that if you were interested in like Black history or Black culture, that you could look into or look up, and they'll offer it for CPP students to, educate themselves. Another thing they offer, and one of the things that they go through is they do have their own Instagram because things went virtual, things were like they no longer could host on campus events. Everything had to be through Instagram or through My Bar to just kind of get focused on Zoom meetings. They offered a lot of things for the community in terms of either education or just like get involved in like some fun games or activities. So oftentimes they have Blurred Week, and Blurred Week is often their means of just trying to either get involved in science fiction, movie culture, pop culture. Oftentimes, it sometimes involves anime, as I've seen posts around, so I've been involved in that. So again, a lot of what they are getting updates to is either their My Bar or their Facebook or their Instagram. And so that right here you can see their handle for their Instagram. They update fairly frequently. So you're able to see like if you're not like, logged into My Bar, you can at least go through their Instagram and see what they're offering virtually. So the next thing I want to go over is the Asian and Pacific Islanders Student Center. And so going through that, they also offer their own student resources and events. One of the things, if you ever get in, walk into the API Center, is basically they have this mural that they go around, and each one is different of, what would I say that? Different cultures within API. So each one tells a story. Each one involves their own type of it's like their quote. It's their woven stories, but all of them are interconnected together to tell something better. So again, ways to get updated on them is also the same. Here's their handle. It's Facebook and Instagram, and also through MyBar. So one of the things that they offer is again, they have a large community space also. So you're able to reserve a conference room, you're able to reserve a table and able to study with them and be able to just lounge there. They even have their own fridge there that if you like bring your own meals, you could just kind of like put it in there. But reminder though, they do have to clean that at the end of the day. So like remind yourself that, oh, I did bring a meal, so I'm just gonna have to make sure that I eat it. I think it's before 5 because every cultural center like closes at 5 p.m. And so you're gonna have to go in there because again, they have to clean those fridges. So they have their own computer labs and they have their own study space where you could just lounge there and just focus on your work. They also host a lot of community events as well. So they even have their own ability where you can like listen to like some workshops and listen to some of the things that students often reserve to be able to host in their lounge. They also host some community events or fundraisers on campus. So you might see more of those when you get on campus, is that you'll see a lot of the student centers have their own fundraisers and they're mainly through food. So each student center just will bring their own form of food that you can purchase and help to support the center. And so the next thing that I want to go over is Cesar Chavez Center. So again, one of the things is that getting updated through them is through Facebook and their Instagram and MyBar. And the resources that they offer is again a computer lab, a study space, a place for students to be able to just, mingle with each other and get involved. And again, much like the other student centers, they offer community workshops and on-campus events. And so we have a guest speaker. Her name is Cynthia Avina, and she'll be going over her experience being involved with the Cesar E. Chavez Center. So I'll hand over the mic to her. Cynthia.
Thank you, Sebastian. So again, my name is Cynthia Avina. I basically relocated to Southern California. So the Cesar Chavez Center was basically my home away from home. There, since I did live on campus, my hometown was 4 hours away. I was constantly there meeting new people, basically making it my home. Um, with the Cesar Chavez Center, I really built a lot of community. When I would get homesick or if there was like new locations that I wanted to explore, I really mingled a lot with the community that they already had there. Um, they have wonderful coordinators and wonderful student assistants that, again, not only help me with trying to navigate through the college experience, but also navigate through any situation that I had. So if there were any other resources that they knew about, since most of them were either second or third years or about to graduate, they did provide a lot of resources to me. Um, there, I also learned a lot of my culture. They had, as you can see, a picture there of Dia de los Muertos, which gave me an opportunity to volunteer, and I was also able to pick up a student leadership position where that eventually helped me build my network where I had my first, job experience. I can use it on my resume. And then again, build community and network with the Cesar Chavez Center. But it was basically my home away from home. So I would definitely recommend it if it's you want to, get out of your comfort zone. If you have any questions when we do go on campus or even on the virtual events, they are very, very supportive. And like I said, the coordinators and the student assistants are really there to try to help you navigate through this whole college experience.
Thank you, Cynthia. And so the next thing that we'll be going over is the Native American Student Center. So I believe uh, they're located in the Union Plaza. So aside from there being a cultural center right next to the marketplace, there are other cultural centers that are located in what was known as the Stables. And so I think the Native American Student Center is located in what is now known as the Union Plaza. So if you got interested in wanting to learn more about them, that is where you can find them. Again, much like the other cultural centers, you can see them on Facebook or Instagram and see what they have to offer. They even have their own link tree. Uh, so one of the things that they offer, again, community space. So if you're looking for a place to just relax or just to study, they also offer a community space that also offers some volunteer opportunities that you can get involved in, kind of, work through like getting your college experience with them as well. And they also offer some educational workshops as well. So the next thing is going over the Pride Center. Again, they're another cultural center that is located in the Union Plaza where the Native American Student Center is. They have their own space. Uh, Getting updated through them is mainly through Instagram. And so one of the things they offer are recreation center, again, another space where you can relax and be involved in that community, and also a study space. So you have somewhere to go if you have to look for, like wanting to get through your midterms or like just needing someone to like help you with studying. And so they also host on-campus events. They often also are the ones who like tend to be the more like how would I say, like they tend to like offer a lot of like more of the whimsical events because they do host a lot of drag. And so as you can see here, one of their events that they did like every semester was inviting a drag queen over and hosting bingo, and like it was just like a party with them, and they hosted a lot of them and it was very fun. The next thing they also offer is community support. So whether you identify is, well, that's one thing is your personal, how you identify personally is your own like personal space. But if you, whatever you identify is, or like whatever you're like, in terms of like being LGBTQ, they'll offer that because they have their own queer chats that they often go through every day throughout the week that can get everyone involved if, in like these, very supportive discussions and very like, supportive discussions for you to be able to get involved in to learn either more about yourself or learn more about others. Um, the next thing that we'll be going over is the Women's Resource Center. One of the things that they get updated on is Facebook, but they're mainly on Instagram. Um, I've seen there a lot of their posts have been on Instagram, a lot of mindfulness. So here's their handle if you want to get to know more about them at CPPWRC. And so some of the resources and events that they offer is a lot of student support. They're often always reaching to, make sure that everyone is just being very stress free and like trying to like be very inclusive. And then they have their own community space. So they also have their own fridge in there that you could probably use. And they also host a lot of educational workshops that you can be involved in. And so I'll be handing over the mic to my friend Ashley Morales, who has like a lot of experience with them and has been involved with them throughout her college experience. So, Ashley, if you may.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley. I'm a fourth year architecture student at CPP. So like Sebastian said, I've kind of been a part of the WRC since the very beginning of my college experience. Just because I felt most comfortable entering that space, it felt nice to kind of meet new women on campus from different majors. And I'll say one thing about the WRC is that it's not just for women, right? Anyone of any gender can come in and enjoy the space. It's open to everyone. Also, apart from the fridge, we have free tea and coffee. So you're always welcome to come in and get some hot water for your beverages. So yeah, it's been very beneficial to me to be with the WRC. I'm a very introverted person, but I kind of like made myself go, and it's been great ever since. One of the things I'm a part of is, as you can see, a Girl Squad, which is kind of a small club with the WRC. It started as kind of like you're volunteering for the WRC, like we're helping host events and we're cleaning up things and we're passing out flyers for other events. But over the past year, it's kind of become an official club. So if you're always welcome to join. We have meetings Wednesdays at 1 p.m. and they're usually kind of like community spaces. We kind of just chat with each other. We play games. We just get to know each other. And it's been nice because we're online, you kind of get lonely sometimes. So that's kind of like a little community experience we have together. Other things at the WRC, we have a yearly Women's Leadership Institute where you sign up and you're matched with a mentor from your field. And this, I think it was in March that I did it. I was matched up with a mentor who now I have a super close relationship with her, and she's helped me network for like actual professional opportunities. So it's a wonderful experience. It's like a 2-day thing that used to be in person, and now we did it online, and it was awesome. And then other events and spaces are usually for like education, for self-care and wellness, and again, community. So recent events will have like weekly girl nights, which again are open to everyone. Very focused on self-care, playing games together, getting to know each other, just taking a break from school. And they also host workshops on gender issues, on like how to be professional in a workspace, and opportunities for growth. So I highly recommend, if you're ever on campus or even now online, if you want to get to know new people, the WRC is a wonderful place.
Thank you, Ashley. Um, so, understanding that like a lot of cultural centers, and their involvement, sometimes maybe that might not be your thing. Um, So there are other ways to be a part of a community. And one of those ways to be part of a community is either revolving around your major or revolving around your interests. So my bar offers a lot of that, in that you could find something that you could be a part of either because you are involved in your major a lot. So you have like Cal Poly Pomona Student Association for Animal Science or architecture students. There's a lot of engineering that is involved in CPP. So there's always an organization for them. So if you're involved, if you have like a major that you're just wanting to get more network through or connections through, go through my bar and see like search through your major and see which ones you want to get involved with. Another thing is communities based on interest. So one of the things that either you could be a very active person, so you could be a part of some of the brick events, some of the things where you're able to, actually be a part of physically of like, like if running is your thing, if like flag football is your thing, there's always a way that the brick can involve you in those communities. But if you're like me, very introverted and very online, you could either be part of Bronco Esports or you're just like, or board games. So if that's your means of like wanting to be in part of a community, CPP does offer that through various types of events. It could be anime, it could be esports, it could be board games. They're very much involved in that. Um, and so they also have a cosplay corner, but I haven't seen much of them. But then again, I'm very like in my own different types of clubs. So if I have my own experience going through a community based on my major, which is food science society, and that's because I'm a food science major that I'm able to like get involved within. But like much like a lot of the clubs here, and much like a lot of the cultural centers, they're not exclusive. So you're always able to be a part of something. If something is your interest but it's not in your major, you can always be involved with them. They're very open to just always having more people and joining them and supporting them. So if something is like from a different major or different interest, you can always go through my bar and see what you might be involved in if you want to be involved with anything. So next, we'll be going over the SEAS program, which is something that Abigail Trujillo is very involved in. Um, and she'll be going over what that would mean in terms of community. So, Abigail?
Hi, everyone. Like Sebastian said, my name is Abigail, and I'm part of the SEAS program. And really what the SEAS program stands for is for Science Educational Enhancement Services. And what they really do is provide assistance and services for historically low income and underrepresented minorities in the field of science. So if you're in the College of Science, this is a really good program to get into. You can sign up, or you can even just stop by. They offer things like special faculty advisors, peer mentoring program. If you're interested in doing research or even just wanting to get to know more about research, they have opportunities they pay for your fellowships, for your conference travels, and just general support. Also, this was a class that they offered that I took. It's a first year experience science course for freshmen. It's a good way to get an introductory to what course to see what your science classes are going to be like. Great way to meet other people in the College of Science, not necessarily those that are in your major. So it's really a good experience for freshmen. They even offer workshops for high fail rate classes, so organic chemistry, some of the physics courses, and even some mathematics courses. So they're really watching out for the students there. Also professional development workshops. You're going to have a lot of challenges in the industry, and even more so as a minority. So they offer things like imposter syndrome or work conflict work conflict workshops. So learning how you could deal with these in a professional manner and deal with the challenges. They offer other stuff like I mentioned, the community room, a quiet room if you need a quiet place to study and it's really quiet. They have a textbook loan library for textbooks you might need, so you don't have to buy your textbooks. Like the other resource centers, computer labs, or with free printing, and even a fridge so you can put your lunch and a coffee maker. So they offer a lot of different things. I had a lot of fun every year. Since I'm part of the mentoring program, I would take the freshmen, and even I went as a freshman to Benelli Park, and it was really nice because it was a good way to meet others. We went on like kayaks and pedal boats and stand-up paddle boards. So it was really nice and a really good way to relax, not only in an academic setting, but outside of an academic setting. So they have an Instagram and Facebook, but they're more active on their actual website, which is cpp.edu/Cs. And there they have like their weekly newsletter, how you could sign up and just other services where you can join.
Thank you, Abigail. And so, closing off, going over a recap of the importance of community is that as you went through all of the cultural centers and the clubs and organizations, is that they offer a lot of support. So every club and organization is there for you, and they are there to help you get through your college experience, either through wanting to build connections, either through networking, either just to, just get involved with, or finding like some way to like ease your mind from all of the work that you've been doing. That's what they're there for. Again, a lot of it is also visibility, just trying to, feel like you are welcomed and included in a space, because again, a lot of CPP is that you belong here. Um, you don't want to like, they don't want to have you feel like there isn't a space for you, because they will offer many ways for you to get involved or be able to build a community of people who, enjoy the same things that you do or have the same experiences as you do. And so again, at the end of the day, it's about acceptance. It's about like accepting, like, that you yourself are like very much a part of like the people around you, and very much like feeling seen and feeling like you are like the things that you enjoy or the experiences that you've gone through are not like being brushed off. They're very much there to, offer support, offer you any resources that can help you get through your college experiences. And so that will be it for the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box or unmute your mic. Our guest speakers will be here if you want to have like any specific questions for them in regards to some of the resources that they've used. But we do all have a survey that if you go through the link, or if you use or scan through your phone to, take a part of, quick 2 minutes, and you could be entered for a $50 Amazon opportunity drawing. But that is about it for the presentation. We'll stick around if anyone has anything to ask.